Two Tequesta teenagers were last seen on before they disappeared back in South Florida this morning.
Whitney Burbank joining us live right now. Whitney, that boat's still on a cargo ship this morning.
Still on a cargo ship this morning, Paul. That's right. Now 10 months after disembarking from a Jupiter dock with Austin Stefanos and Perry Cohen on board that boat back in South Florida waters, but its future still a bit murky. New video shows the cargo ship carrying the boat Austin and Perry were last seen aboard in July. The Tequesta teens still missing. Perry's mom says she wants Florida Fish and Wildlife and law enforcement investigators to check out the boat. Now a Norwegian ship spotted it overturned near Bermuda back in March. The capsized craft belonged to Austin, so it's unclear what the Stefanos family will do with the boat that's still aboard that Norwegian cargo ship docked in Port Everglades last night. Officials tell us that that boat is expected to be unloaded from the cargo ship at 7 o'clock tonight. For now, we're live here in Palm Beach County. Whitney Burbank, WPBF 25 News.
Whitney, thank you. Now to breaking news from overnight. The Coast Guard has suspended its search for a missing cruise ship passenger in the Gulf of Mexico. Apparently, video captured Samantha Broberg falling overboard from the 10th deck of the Carnival Liberty early Friday morning. Investigators say it appears she was sitting on a deck railing when she fell backwards into the water. Planes spent 20 hours searching for Broberg in a 4,300 square mile area southeast of Galveston, Texas. Erin.
Stephanie, thank you. We have some good news for commuters this morning. Okeechobee Boulevard in downtown West Palm Beach is open this morning. Here's a live look. The city told us all lanes are open. They were closed Friday for all aboard construction. An autopsy is scheduled today for the man who was shot and killed in Port St. Lucie. Police say two men were arguing Friday along Southwest Chapman Avenue when one of them pulled out a gun and shot the other. Right now, police are looking into whether the shooting was self-defense or if this is a homicide. According to the TC Palm, police are expected to be releasing more information about the shooting later on today.
Time now 6:03, and here's a local picture getting national attention this morning. That's a nurse shark attached to the arm of a swimmer. It was a scuba diver. She came out of the water and that nurse shark would not let go of her. This is a 2-foot nurse shark attached to the woman's forearm. Didn't let go of its grip even after the shark died.
We came onto the beach and we saw so many people surrounding someone, so we looked around and we saw there was a shark hanging from her elbow.
Nurse sharks are not known to bite humans. The woman went to the hospital with minor injuries, and according to experts, nurse sharks are slow-moving bottom dwellers, mostly harmless to humans, but obviously not in this case.
Time now 6:03. A local MMA fighter who was hit and killed in Delray Beach will now be honored through a scholarship. Bellator MMA announced it will now hold an annual scholarship in Jordan Parsons' name. The Jordan Parsons Scholarship Fund will send a young wrestler to the Jay Robinson Intensive Wrestling Camp each and every year. Deputies in Martin County came to the rescue after a man's kayak flipped over 2 miles offshore.
This was the scene right here. A kayaker nearby was able to call for help and give a description of where exactly they were. The Coast Guard launched a helicopter search while Martin County deputies searched the water. Deputies credit the kayakers' preparedness and a life vest for that successful rescue.
Time now 6:04 on your Monday. It's Hurricane Preparedness Week.
Believe it or not, we are now just over 2 weeks away from the start of the 2016 hurricane season. So coming up, we'll tell you about the first thing you need to do to prepare for an evacuation.
And coming together to fight drugs, what hip-hop artist Macklemore had to say about opioid abuse in the United States, all while sitting right next to President Obama.
And the massive effort underway right now to save a porpoise species from imminent extinction. I've got all the details in Trending Now. You're watching WPBF 25 News Mornings, always live, local, late breaking.
You're watching WPBF 25 News Mornings.
All right, take a look at the countdown clock to hurricane season. We are now 15 days away.
All this week, National Hurricane Preparedness Week. So we're giving you some tips, and this morning we're focusing on where you live.
Yeah, the first thing that you need to do is find out if you live in a storm surge hurricane evacuation zone or if you're in a home that would be unsafe during a hurricane.
If you are, you need to figure out where you would go and what you would do, how you would get to a safe spot. You need to identify someone, perhaps a friend or a relative, who does not live in a zone or an unsafe home. Be sure to account for your pets. Don't forget about them. Most local shelters do not permit pets. You need to make sure you have a pet plan as well. Sandra, over to you.
Sounds like a plan, and it's better to be forearmed for sure when we talk to her about hurricane season. We're talking about severe weather, though. The threat is so imminent for parts of the Four Corners area in the Southern Plains today. We also have severe storms trying to develop just to the south of Houston right now, and we have showers and storms moving through Kansas and Oklahoma. And it is this corridor right here, Tornado Alley, will have an enhanced risk today for more tornadic cells and a slight risk beyond that. We're talking about the Four Corners area and into parts of Texas even. For us, no real issues today, maybe an off chance of a thunderstorm, but mainly west. We're going to ramp up the chances of some stronger activity, though, by Wednesday. So stay tuned for the scoop on that.
Thanks, Sandra. Coming up on 6:09, time now for a first alert traffic update. And good news coming in this morning. All lanes have been reopened along Okeechobee Boulevard. As you can see, just normal slow up. Good traffic flow throughout downtown West Palm Beach currently, and really shaping up to be a great Monday morning along the roadways, I-95 and the Turnpike. Smooth sailing from West Palm Beach all the way down into South County and Boca Raton. Here's a look at your current drive times. I-95 southbound at Donald Ross Road to Palm Beach Lakes, only around an 11-minute commute. So looking great out there right now. Let's keep that trend going. I also have up-to-the-minute accident reports and also all the road closures ongoing this week on my Twitter page at WPBF_Taylor.
Taylor, thank you. Time now coming up on 6:10. A bomb scare at a soccer stadium.
Yeah, the device authorities found that caused them to cancel the Manchester United game.
Plus, a local man reunites with the Martin County Sheriff deputy who saved his life. See the images of their reunion and hear the heroic actions that make this story an incredible miracle. I'll be right back. Welcome back. In honor of Law Enforcement Appreciation Month, the Martin County Sheriff's Office shared an incredible story on their Facebook page. A bicyclist who survived a horrific crash was reunited with the deputy who helped to save his life. Kevin Walker nearly died after a runaway trailer hit him while he was riding his bike along Dixie Highway in November. Well, the Martin County Sheriff's Deputy John Fulbrecht crawled underneath that trailer to find Walker with severe injuries to his leg and pelvis. He was also bleeding heavily from a severed artery. Well, that deputy applied pressure to the artery and held on for rescue crews to arrive. Walker did lose his leg in that accident, but survived thanks to Deputy Fulbrecht's immediate action. A true hero, Paul.
Absolutely, Stephanie. Thank you. Well, turning now to Commitment 2016, presumptive GOP nominee Donald Trump is pushing back this morning against a New York Times article that details the way the billionaire allegedly treated women. The report details, and I'm quoting here, unwelcome romantic advances, unsettling workplace conduct, and unending commentary on the female form. At the same time, President Obama took swipes over the weekend at Donald Trump while he was speaking to Rutgers' graduating class. Listen to this.
It's not cool to not know what you're talking about. That's not challenging political correctness. That's just not knowing what you're talking about.
Meanwhile, Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders, they are preparing for tomorrow's primary. Clinton will be in Kentucky today, while Bernie Sanders will campaign in Puerto Rico. New this morning, South Korea and the United States, as well as Japan, will be holding their first joint military training exercise next month. It's going to focus on detecting signs of missile launches from North Korea and trace missile trajectories. The drills are scheduled to take place towards the end of next month.
Time now 6:14. Security training before a big soccer match in England caused quite the bomb scare. Police in Manchester evacuated the stadium and postponed the match when a realistic looking device was found in a bathroom. Police say it was left behind by a private company that had been running a training exercise for bomb sniffing dogs. We have new details this morning in a bus crash that killed 8 people and injured 44 others in Texas. Investigators say the bus company involved in that rollover crash had been ordered twice to take one of its buses off the road to fix a break to its emergency exit areas. It's still unclear if that same charter bus was the one that crashed on Saturday.
Time now 6:15. A U.S. Navy SEAL instructor has been temporarily reassigned after a sailor from Florida died during a rigorous training program. A preliminary autopsy reveals that Seaman James Lovelace drowned in a swimming pool after participating in a program known as Basic Underwater Demolition. The circumstances surrounding his death are now being investigated. Lovelace is from Crestview, that's on Florida's Panhandle. Well, the man charged with trying to kill a Universal Orlando caricature artist is expected to appear in court later today. A competency hearing will be held for Frederick Torres to see if he's fit to stand trial. Torres was arrested in January after allegedly attacking fellow artist Glenn Ferguson at Islands of Adventure. He has pleaded not guilty.
The latest addition to Disney Springs is now open. Guests ventured into the new town center for the very first time yesterday. This is just the first phase of the new center that is under construction at Walt Disney World. Officials say the expansion has already created 4,000 new jobs. The rest of the town center is expected to open in phases throughout the summer. Sandra.
All right, thanks a lot, Erin. Time now is 6:16, and take a look at our landmark at the Gardens condominium camera overlooking Palm Beach Gardens and taking a look back toward the interstate there. Absolutely beautiful. You almost can see a little bit of moisture in the atmosphere. I mean, there's some very, very light, almost transparent patchy fog in spots, especially west of the Turnpike, and elsewhere it's just really humid. It looks like a summertime morning out there for sure. Nothing really on the ground right now at this point. We've seen a couple of quick moving showers bubbling up from the south, showers offshore. So basically a quiet day today with an off chance of a shower or storm driven by the sea breeze this afternoon. But it will be hot, and that's going to be the big weather story, at least for this Monday. Upper 60s between Okeechobee and Port St. Lucie. Good morning. 70 in Vero Beach, 79 in West Palm, 78 degrees in Boca Raton with very light east-southeast winds. Of course, the more southeasterly flow will bring in a little more heat today, and it's also going to help the moisture build. That moisture really reaches a fever pitch by about midweek. We'll see a series of disturbances move through, and that means an unsettled trend with widespread scattered showers and storms starting possibly as soon as tomorrow afternoon. But in the meantime, today just an off shot that we see an isolated shower or so by about 1 o'clock, possibly a storm. Overall, though, you're just going to be noticing the heat and the humidity, feeling like summer. 86 to 88 degrees. Note that the heat index value, the combination of the heat and the humidity, will make it feel hotter than that, at least 91 to about 95, depending on your location later today. A mix of sun and clouds throughout. 2-foot seas out there and a moderate chalk, so a little bumpy for boaters. Not too bad. We have our low tide this morning if you're heading to the beach at about 11:18, so that's good news. High tide is this evening at 5:38. Very high UV index. That's just another characteristic of not only the summer season, but the wet season, which we're poised to start, it looks like maybe as soon as this week. Take a look at the increase in moisture, especially as we head into tomorrow night. You note that there's an intense sort of a cell of showers and storms that's going to be moving through disturbance to our north. That'll increase the moisture here across the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. And basically, we'll just see a moisture-rich environment, some southerly winds, and a series of what we call short waves zipping through starting Wednesday in through Thursday and Friday as well. So chance of mainly sea breeze driven storms tomorrow afternoon, but then a better chance of sort of maybe organized activity throughout the day on Wednesday with the 60% coverage. We keep the heat around, we keep sun around, get a healthy chance of some late day showers and storms Thursday, even Friday through the weekend as well. So a much different scenario this week than we saw with the extreme dry conditions last week.
All right, Sandra, thank you. Award-winning hip-hop artist Macklemore joining the president in his weekly address to talk about drug abuse in the United States.
That's right. Macklemore described the problem as personal and talked about his battle with addiction.
Hey everybody, I'm here with President Obama because I take this personally. I abused prescription drugs and I battled addiction. If I hadn't gotten the help that I needed when I needed it, I definitely would not be here today. And I want to help others facing the same challenges that I did.
Yeah, this summer, MTV plans to air a 1-hour documentary that includes a conversation between President Obama and Macklemore.
All right, time for a look at what's trending now. And there's a big social media drive this morning to save a rare porpoise. The vaquita porpoise is the world's smallest porpoise species. So cute, but it faces imminent extinction. So the Mexican Navy and environmentalists have deployed new boats, planes, helicopters, even drones to try and help save them. There are reportedly just under 60 vaquita porpoises left in the wild, and they're only found in the Gulf of California. Staying in the ocean theme, scientists are warning the Disney film Finding Dory could trigger a decline of certain fish populations. The movie, which tells the story of Dory, a blue tang fish, is set to open in theaters June 17th. But experts say the release of Finding Nemo back in 2003 actually led to a decline in wild clownfish populations. So scientists say they're going to be keeping a close eye on both the blue tang and the clownfish populations. And they're already telling people, warning them, Aaron and Paul, not to take these fish from the water, because that's what a lot of people were doing back in '03.
Yeah, I feel like you see more clownfish when you go to like the aquariums and stuff, or
Yeah,
They're very recognizable ever since the movie. So hopefully
right.
this time around people will learn better.
Okay, thanks, Stephanie. Tonight at 11, look years younger without a trip to the doctor.
I noticed a difference within 4 days. My skin is so hydrated. My makeup goes on easier, and I just obsessed with it. Precisely.
All right, so what is she using? We'll tell you about the new product just launched in the U.S. that's changing the anti-aging game, the natural and no needle method, dramatically reducing wrinkles and rejuvenating skin all at home. That is tonight, only on WPBF 25 News at 11.
Don't want to miss it. Time now 6:21. Good news if you're heading into downtown West Palm Beach.
That's right, construction wrapping up, causing lanes to reopen one day early. We'll tell you what you need to know.
And if you're not already, be sure to follow WPBF 25 News Traffic on Twitter. We tweet out important traffic information that you need to know before you hit the roads in the mornings. Like right now, fog developing near Fort Pierce along I-95.
And as we go to break, last night's winning lottery numbers right there for you. Thanks for watching WPBF 25 News. We are your official lottery station. We'll be right back.
Housing forecast is sponsored by Jetson. Expert advice plus the best price.
Welcome back. Time now at 6:24. Let's take a look at the Bahamas crossing forecast. 88 degrees today, only 2-foot seas, 2 to 3-foot seas tomorrow, with an increase in widespread showers and storms potentially, especially late tomorrow, and that'll last into Wednesday as well. So it could get rough if you're caught in a storm, but the seas themselves only at about 2 feet.
All right, the Queen still partying over there.
Yeah,
Members
she
of the
is.
royal family attending quite the performance over the weekend to honor the Queen's 90th birthday. Maybe you've heard she's turned 90.
She's quite the partier. The royal family, including Prince Charles, Prince William, Duchess Kate, and Prince Harry, all gathered at Windsor Castle on Sunday.
The televised event featured famous performers and singers and 900 horses.
900.
Because why not? The Queen turned 90 on April 21st. However, her official birthday celebration will be held Saturday, June 11th. So I did a little research on this.
Okay.
Her Majesty and kings and queens throughout the history of England, they always celebrated 2 birthdays. One was their date they were actually born, and then they had one held in the summertime when the weather got better. So they always have an official one for when the weather is a bit less dreary.
There you go.
Called up the 900 horses.
Oh, you do.
Here we go.
Across the pond.
A company is looking to hire nearly 1,000 workers as NASA prepares to send astronauts to Mars.
That's right, and Sierra Nevada Corporation working to develop a decent brake system for the mission set for 2020. The company has offices in Nevada and Colorado. Its leaders are working closely with NASA to develop the parts needed for the mission.
We'll be hauling cargo back and forth to the International Space Station and pulling scientific experiments back from the ISS-2 that can land on the runway so they don't splash in the ocean and get ruined. They can go straight into the lab.
That's pretty cool looking.
Yeah.
Right now, NASA working on its Orion spacecraft at the Kennedy Space Center in hopes of sending it to the Red Planet.
Apple is trying to figure out why some iTunes users are seeing music disappear from their accounts.
Yikes. And Amazon is set to roll out new labels.
Here are this morning's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, there's some frustration among iTunes users.
Apple says it's been working on a fix after some users said music was deleted from their accounts without their permission. The company admits that it hasn't quite identified the cause of the problem yet, but it's still working on an update for release this week.
Meanwhile, Amazon is poised to launch some new lines of private label brands. The move is expected to include Amazon's first major push into perishable foods.
They will include nuts, baby food, tea, even coffee, in addition to diapers, laundry detergent, and other household items. And if you are a big Simpsons fan, then you're probably going to love the new GIF generator by Frinkiac.
It lets users search through 15 seasons of the hit television show for a specific quote, and then you can turn the quote into an animated GIF.
I wonder how many times donuts and beer appear.
A lot.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Look, the wolf was huffing and puffing.
Like you do sometimes, Grandpa?
Well, when you have COPD, it can be hard to breathe. It can be hard to get air out, which can make it hard to get air in. So I talked to my doctor. She said,
Symbicort could help you breathe better, starting within 5 minutes. Symbicort doesn't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden symptoms. Symbicort helps provide significant improvement of your lung function. Symbicort is for COPD, including chronic bronchitis and emphysema. It should not be taken more than twice a day. Symbicort contains formoterol. Medicines like formoterol increase the risk of death from asthma problems. Symbicort may increase your risk of lung infections, osteoporosis, and some eye problems. You should tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it.
Symbicort could mean a day with better breathing. Watch out, piggies!
Symbicort. Breathe better, starting within 5 minutes. Call or go online to learn more about a free trial offer. If you can't afford your medication, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Happening right now, good news this morning for drivers heading towards downtown West Palm Beach. We'll tell you where lanes have now reopened one day early.
And the boat two Tequesta teenagers were last seen on before they disappeared back in South Florida. We're going to tell you where that boat is right now in just a moment.
As we start this half hour, here's Sandra Shaw with a look at your work week forecast.
All right, good morning, Paul and Aaron. Take a look. We have a little bit of patchy fog in Vero Beach right now, so lights on low beam. Heads up for that, 68 degrees. 79 with some clouds around West Palm Beach, partly cloudy in Wellington, and 71. Good morning, Boca, 77 degrees. Daytime highs today, still pretty scorching, up to between 86 and 88 degrees. You see that chance of a shower or storm. It's only at about 20% today, driven by the heating of the day. Real field conditions really on up there, lower to mid 90s, the heat index values. So it's all about the heat and the humidity, really building in though with the moisture by the middle part of the week. We're gonna have an unsettled work week with daily afternoon showers and storms, and tomorrow late into Wednesday, the biggest time slot for maybe widespread activity. Afternoon showers and storms are gonna be more of the routine, of course, not only this week, but I think as we turn the corner into the wet season, you can clearly see the trend though this week. 50% chance tomorrow, 60 to 70 on Wednesday, 50% down to 40% by Thursday and Friday. So either way, you're going to make sure you have that umbrella handy. We'll take a closer look coming up.
All right, Sandra, thank you. We're following some live local late breaking news right now out of West Palm Beach.
Dozens of crews right now on the scene of a house fire along Meadowbrook Drive, which is just east of the Turnpike and Jog Road. Firefighters tell us heavy smoke was coming from the home when they got there. They're now telling us that the fire is under control. No word on whether anyone was actually in the home. Whitney Burbank is on the scene gathering information right now. We'll have a live report in just a few minutes.
And we have some good news for commuters this morning. All lanes of Okeechobee Boulevard in downtown West Palm Beach have reopened this morning. Now remember, they were closed Friday for all aboard construction and weren't scheduled to reopen until tomorrow. However, All Aboard tells us crews managed to get all the work done in time to open the entire road this morning. The boat two Tequesta teens were last seen on before they disappeared is back in South Florida.
That boat is on board a cargo ship that arrived at Port Everglades last night. Austin Stefanos and Perry Cohen were last seen on that boat, leaving the Jupiter Inlet back in July. The boat was discovered last month near Bermuda. Officials tell us the boat is scheduled to be unloaded tonight at 7 o'clock. What's still unclear is where the boat will go from there. It belongs to the Stefanos family, but the Cohen family is now asking that it be examined by law enforcement.
Now 6:31, a second hearing begins this morning as to what happened to the El Faro cargo ship. All 33 people on the ship died when it vanished near the Bahamas during Hurricane Joaquin last October. The 2-week hearing will focus on weather, the ship's stability, and the last people to have contact with those on board.
And breaking news out of Afghanistan this morning, where protests in Kabul have put the capital on lockdown. Tens of thousands of people marched through the streets of Kabul protesting a proposed power line route. Armed police blocked their paths to the presidential palace by stacking shipping containers and closing off Kabul's commercial center to all traffic. Most of the city's shops are shuttered, and the U.S. Embassy in Kabul closed its consular section, warning Americans to stay put and not travel within the city. Erin?
Stephanie, thank you. A pilot managed to walk away unharmed after making a hard landing at the Pahokee Airport. Very little information has been released as to what caused that plane to go off the runway over the weekend. You can see video here. We do know that no one was injured.
Jury deliberations will continue this week in the murder trial of a Treasure Coast woman accused of killing her 5-year-old son. Jurors have twice now asked to rehear testimony from the trial of Michelle Lazinski on Friday. Prosecutors say Lazinski killed her son 25 years ago in New Jersey. Her attorney argues no forensic evidence ties her to the crime.
West Palm Beach police are trying to figure out how 2 juveniles escaped from lockup. Officers were called to 44th Street and Irwin Avenue Sunday morning after reports of a suspicious person. Shortly after, the Juvenile Detention Center reported 2 inmates had escaped. The escapees were found and taken back into custody. Both teens will be charged with felony escape and resisting arrest. Hundreds of people came out to support the zookeeper fatally attacked by a tiger.
The Stacy Conweiser Save the Tiger 5K run was held Saturday at the Palm Beach Zoo.
To be honest, I have a love for the tigers and animals in general, and I thought it was a good cause, and then with what happened, it was an even better, stronger cause, so I wanted to come out and support.
Money raised will go to the Wildlife Conservation Society's Tiger Project in Malaysia. Family and friends celebrating the life of Greg Bryant over the weekend, a former local high school football star who attended American Heritage in Delray Beach.
You'll remember Bryant and his friend were shot on I-95 after a night out with friends. Bryant died from his injuries. The athlete played football at the University of Alabama, Birmingham and Notre Dame and was home on break.
A lot of the stories were about how he touched different people in different ways, and was just a great person, Very tough time for everybody, and there a lot of emotion in the church, but a lot of celebration too.
Bryant's body was taken to Delray Community Cemetery to be laid to rest. Police are still asking anyone for information about how this shooting happened to contact police. The Port St. Lucie City Council has approved plans for a new roundabout. The public is invited to an informal meeting tonight on its design and to talk about construction. The intersection is at Northwest Bayshore Boulevard and Northwest Selvets Road. The meeting is from 5:30 until 7 o'clock. That's at the Community Center. We have the address for you right here. 2195 Southeast Arosa Boulevard.
Dozens of local students are given a new set of wheels as a thank you for being model students. Take a look at this. Students representing 20 elementary schools in West Palm Beach were at the Kravis Center during a luncheon this weekend where they received those bikes. Principals selecting the students based on good classroom behavior. So
nice bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations.
6:35 on a Monday. Several people injured in a crash right near Animal Kingdom.
Sad story here. We're going to tell you what family members are saying caused this fiery wreck.
And new fossils discovered in Florida have researchers rewriting history this morning.
And again, we're following that live local late breaking news out of West Palm Beach. We have live pictures right now as we continue to monitor this breaking story. You can see Whitney Burbank on scene talking to firefighters, trying to figure out what caused this house fire. And remember, we are always first when it comes to live local late breaking coverage. We're going to get back to that live local late breaking news right now out of West Palm Beach.
Whitney Burbank arriving on the scene of a house fire. All right, Whitney, what are you seeing out there?
Well, Paul, Aaron, I just spoke to the homeowner here. She said that she was the only person home when this fire broke out here on Meadowbrook Drive. She says that the fire happened just about 10 minutes before 6 o'clock this morning. Now, she says that she's very shaken up, but she is not injured. She's doing okay. She tells me she came back home from Jamaica recently, and she doesn't know what happened, what could have caused the fire, as she has been away from the home for about a week or so. Again, fire investigators still here looking around the scene, looking around the back at a window where there's some heavy smoke damage. You can see it around the back of the house. We'll get a shot of that for you later. Of course, the fire is still under investigation this morning. For now, we're live here in West Palm Beach. Whitney Burbank, WPBF 25 News.
All right, thanks, Whitney. You can see that the sun is basically up. Our sunrise time at 6:32. And take a look. We got a great sunrise shot. This was taken by Greg Anastos and Jensen Beach over the weekend, retweeted by Golf Office. And you see the pelicans flying over the Atlantic there, and just that fire in the sky. Gorgeous pictures. And this is a look at the shoreline sent to me by Mike Rebnan. We appreciate that. That's the Treasure Coast over the weekend, looking great. And then I got another one, that was sent to me by Sean, and this is of a drone video, and it says shark hunting was talking about, but either way, it shows the beautiful waters that we saw out there over the weekend. So in the meantime, we asked you to send your weather pictures today. You can do so at WPBF_Sandra. You can also send them in via Facebook at Sandra Weather. Taylor.
Thanks, Sandra. Coming along to 6:40. Time now to move along to the roadways. As you can see, I-95 and the Turnpike checking clear throughout southern Palm Beach County all the way down into Broward County. Great news for a Monday morning. Here's a look at your current drive times. I-95 southbound at Okeechobee Boulevard all the way down to Davie Boulevard in Broward County. Only around a 36-minute commute. So right on point of where we should be for this time of the morning. Also, just a heads up, the ongoing construction along Military Trail near Burns Road continues, but during this week through May 18th on Wednesday, they will be actually shifting the road work towards the nighttime. So some good news coming in. It would actually be down to one lane between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. So some good news, some improvement coming, especially during the daytime. But as you can see, some congestion starting to build. I have tweeted all this information out for you at WPBF_Taylor.
Taylor, thank you. Preventing dog bites.
Coming up, what the United States Postal Service now wants you to do to help protect some of their employees.
And a world record holder collapses on stage, then later dies. The renowned musician whose death has the orchestra world in mourning. I'll be right back. Welcome back. Breaking overnight, a world record-holding orchestra member collapses on stage and later dies after a performance. Jane Little, a bassist who held the Guinness World Record for the longest professional tenure with a single orchestra, died Sunday after performing with the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra. She was 87 years old. Little joined the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra at just 16 years old, studying bass in high school for 2 years. Erin?
11 people are recovering following a fiery crash involving an SUV and a bus near Animal Kingdom. Here's a closer look at the video here. We know at least 9 people were hospitalized after the SUV traveling in the wrong lane slammed head-on into a bus over the weekend. Apparently, the woman driving the SUV fell asleep at the wheel. How about this? New fossils of a mastodon found in Florida have researchers rewriting the history books of the earliest Americans. Scuba divers discovered stone tools and a tusk with cut marks at the bottom of a riverbed about 40 miles southeast of Tallahassee. Scientists say it points to humans living in the Gulf Coast area more than 14,000 years ago. That is 1,500 years earlier than previously thought.
Incredible. All right, Erin, thank you. Right now, Hialeah police are searching for a gunman involved in a deadly shooting over the weekend. A man died after the shooting Saturday night near the Rainbow Motel. Police say the man was airlifted to Jackson Memorial Hospital where he died. There's no word on a suspect or a motive at this point. A man remains in a hospital this morning after being shot by a Jacksonville police officer. Police say they were forced to use force because the suspect threatened to cut their heads off. These are the blades that investigators say Cody Marsh was threatening to use on them after he called 911.
And it began taking those knives and just swinging them wildly about his body. He then made threats to the officers, saying that he was going to cut their heads off, that he was going to slash them, and that he was going to throw the knives at them as well.
Marsh was shot 2 times. He is expected to survive.
All right, let's take a look at our sky cameras out there from Palm Beach Gardens to Delray to Boca Raton. It is summer-like outside. We're on the heels of a weekend where we saw some 90s across the area and some upper 80s. We're going to see more of the same on this Monday. Nothing really on the ground now. We saw a couple isolated showers earlier this morning, but the bulk of the activity is well offshore. So far, so good. But I take the umbrella anyway. I mean, you probably won't need it today, but you'll definitely need her by the middle part of the week. Slight chance of a shower or storm, 20% at best. Right now, we're hovering in the low 70s around Abacoa and Tequesta and Jupiter, 79 out at PBIA. Wellington comes in the mid 70s and it's 78 in Boca Raton. Area-wide, that's a jump over the 24-hour period. So a big contrast from yesterday. We're 6 degrees milder in Vero Beach, 5 degrees warmer in West Palm, and about 4 degrees warmer in Stewart. 88 this afternoon, feeling like the lower to mid 90s. We'll see a good deal of sun, a few clouds, a slight chance of a sea breeze driven shower, and notable winds out of the east-southeast, which is going to help that moisture influx continue throughout the course of the week. Boaters, just a moderate chop, so a little bumpier, but not too bad. And beachgoers, you have plenty of time to enjoy things because you don't see sunset until a little bit after 8 o'clock tonight. Low tide, 11:18 this morning. Very high UV index. You can get burned just so quickly out there, so make sure you have the hat, the shades, and reapply the sunscreen. Future track showing a little disturbance kind of rolling through our north throughout the day tomorrow and tomorrow night. So showers kind of focused more north at this point on this model, but some of the models are hinting that we could get some more widespread storm activity tomorrow afternoon. And I think we'll certainly see that throughout the day on Wednesday with about a 60% coverage. Thursday and Friday, afternoon showers and storms are still quite prominent as we head throughout the week. So an unsettled week ahead. We also keep the heat around throughout, so it'll feel like the low 90s most of this week.
All right, Sandra, thank you. Time for a look at what's trending now. And many people are tweeting about Venezuela this morning because the country could be on the brink of collapse. The country has declared a new state of emergency amid worsening conditions there. There are dire shortages of basic goods and horrific street crime. Declining oil prices and the rise of a black market have left Venezuela's economy on the brink of collapse. The U.S. intelligence community is also warning that there could be a coup in the coming months, so something to keep an eye on, that's for sure. And there's awesome sports video that is going viral this morning. I want to make this larger to really give you a good look. It shows lacrosse player Brody Merrill scoring an 80-yard goal in the final moments of regulation play, forcing the game into OT. An incredible shot. The Boston Cannons were trailing the Rochester Rattlers 14-12 in the Major League Lacrosse game when Merrill's two-point goal tied it up. The Cannons went on to win the game 15-14 in overtime. Literally launched it down the field and it bounced into the goal.
You never know what's going to happen. You just take a try there.
And you played lacrosse, so you understand just how hard that is.
Yes, I mean, this is an incredible, incredible shot. It would be like throwing a Hail Mary in football with your eyes closed backwards, basically.
Well, there you go.
That hard.
Yes, that hard.
Stephanie, thank you. Dog Bite Prevention Week is underway.
Didn't know there was such a thing, but there is. The week is dedicated to protecting letter carriers from a dog who might view them as a threat. According to the USPS safety director, 77 postal workers suffered attacks, more than any other city. Customers will be asked to indicate if there's going to be a dog at the address when they're scheduled to pick up a package. The Dog Bite Prevention Week, it runs through Saturday. Time now 6:49 on your Monday. We're following that live local 8 breaking news out of West Palm Beach this morning.
Right now, crews on the scene of this house fire. Whitney Burbank is talking with the homeowner right now, and we'll be live with an update straight ahead. Your news to go is next.
Sponsored by Sandstone Air Conditioning, Electrical and Plumbing.
We are getting you ready to go. Motivational Monday. That's what they call it. I hope you're motivated by the heat because we're going to see it. 88 or so across the area today, feeling like the lower 90s. Cloud, sun mix, and then, some showers. Late day possibility at about 20%. We'll ramp up the storm chances, though, as we head into tomorrow afternoon and especially by Wednesday and Thursday. So something to watch carefully for you.
Sandra, thank you. 6:53 live local late breaking news this morning in West Palm Beach, topping your news to go.
Yeah, let's get right out to Whitney Burbank. She's live on the scene of a house fire this morning. Whitney.
Good morning, Paul and Aaron. Certainly a scary morning for this homeowner here on Meadowbrook Drive. You can see her here. I just spoke to her, Louise Harris. She says she's doing okay, but her arm did get a minor burn. She says that the fire broke out just before 6 o'clock this morning inside her house in a separate bedroom. And this is what's really surprising is she actually drug that mattress that you see here out. She says it's the new Sleep Number bed. She's really attached to it. She didn't want to lose it in the fire, so she pulled it out herself. Before calling for help. Of course, she's doing okay, but the cause of the fire is still under investigation this morning. For now, we're live here in West Palm Beach. Whitney Burbank, WPBF 25 News.